What was the most ridiculous thing you got in trouble for at school? Algebra teacher yelled at me for asking for help. He told me, "Don't ask me. Ask your partner first." Then I turned around and asked my partner for help. He then yelled me at again, "Don't ask her. If you need help, ask me." This just confuses me. What was even going through that teacher's head? An overwhelming amount of nothing. Reading a book. Apparently the head of history found me sitting on a bench reading across from her office window, intimidating. This reminds me that I got in trouble for holding a book. It was a book for adults, so that's probably why I got in trouble. But still, I was upset. I finally started to like books and they said not today. The book wasn't even inappropriate. What book was it? Filing Taxes for Dummies. It was PJ Day. We were washing our hands for lunch. I accidentally got a little water on another kid's sleeve. Teacher flips out how I ruined the kid's expensive pajamas. The kid didn't even care. Did she think they were dry clean only pajamas? Whatever the case, it made waves. In 3rd grade I got 10% taken off one of my tests for spelling my name wrong. When I went to go tell the teacher I knew how to spell my name, she sent me to the principal for smarting off. Yet I know how to spell my own name. This happened to me too. My parents wanted my name to be unique and went with an extremely uncommon spelling on top of a rare name. I didn't get sent to the principal. But my 1st grade teacher called a parent-teacher conference to impress upon my parents that I refused to spell my name correctly and I had a speepty attitude. Because I 100% knew my name's spelling and I loved it. And I was frustrated with this dumb witch of a teacher who seemed to hate me for some reason. My mom was furious and chewed my teacher out for making her leave work early for something so stupid. Shockingly, that incident did not make my teacher like me more. The correct spelling could be found on the class list. No. That teacher must be an absolute imbecile. And I think the reason this can happen to some teachers is that they think too highly of themselves and that they can't be wrong. It's true that power corrupts people. In 7th grade, one of my best friends was accused of swearing in class. He was a bit of a troublemaker. So when the teacher heard the bad word, she automatically assumed it was him and told him to leave. The kid behind him then raised his hand and said that he swore. And apologized. The teacher accepted his apology and then sent my friend to the principal's office. My friend was very confused at this point and asked her why he had to go when he had done nothing wrong. She then snapped a ruler in half and threw it at him. And told him for the destruction of school property. That, I would have to say, is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen someone get in trouble for. I was a bit of a troublemaker. I once was called into the principal's office in 3rd grade and was told I was getting a referral missing recess because I had been standing instead of sitting when sledding down the sledding hill against the rules during morning recess. Thing is, I had missed that earlier recess because I had been serving a referral for one reason or the principal's office. I pointed this out to the principal and she shrugged and said that somebody had done it and she had been told it was me, so that was the end of it. I missed another recess. I became a lawyer. This is a great villain origin story. You can call me habeas corpses. Not putting my jacket and backpack in my locker. All of my classes were on the 1st floor and one end of the building. My assigned locker was on the 2nd floor and in the furthest corner from my classes. The administrators refused to move my locker. So pretty much every day this one teacher would write me up and I got a couple in school suspension for it. Finally, after a few meetings, I got the principal involved and she essentially told the teacher to leave me alone. Washing my hands wrong. My kindergarten teacher didn't like that I flicked excess water off my hands before reaching for the soap. She kept me there for a while until she finally gave up on me. Psycho. My pre-K teacher yelled at me for yawning after waking up from nap hour. She said sleep isn't supposed to make you yawn. She dumb. I saw a dust devil for the first time and said what the... I got in trouble for it. The teachers said you could have said a bad word. But I didn't. Get over it. I woulda say okay then FCKU. I was in kindergarten. Woulda added to the shock factor LMAO. I doodled on my jeans in 10th grade and the assistant principal literally pulled me out of class and called my aunt to come get me. When she got there, he just started going off and pointing to me with "Look at what she did." My aunt just rolled her eyes and said she's 15. I don't know what you expected. Oh man. I forgot about art jeans. I had a pair that me and all my friends drew all over in Sharpie and pens. They were awesome. I wore them until they literally fell apart. So I was the good nerdy kid in school. My sophomore year we had a new principal and she saw some video that showed a guy with 12 guns hidden on his body. The new principal made a rule that your t-shirt had to be shorter than your fingertips at your side. I'm a small guy so all my shirts were non-compliant. So long story short, I was sent to in-school detention for the first time in my life. Some video that showed a guy with 12 guns hidden on his body. That was just stupid. I saw that. The guns had to weigh at least 30 pounds. None of them would stay put. And he'd clank when he walked. Needing to use the restroom. Some teachers are straight crazy. Can I go to the bathroom? May I go to the bathroom? No, because I want to go. There was a teacher that picked on this boy because he couldn't speak proper English. And she would always say it's May when he asked to go to the restroom. She did this on April 30th and one of my friends said actually it's still April. I loved it. Holy speep, I had to read that 3 times but I get it LMAO. We had a girls' entrance and a boys' entrance at my secondary modern school UK. In 1972. I was 12 and proud of the result of my first visit to a proper grown-up hairdresser's. What we now call a mullet but back then was known as a feather cut and was extremely fashionable for both boys and girls at the time. I was in the crowd going through the door when a teacher roared, "You boy! What do you think you're doing?" Being very much a girl, I didn't take any notice until I felt the hand of impending doom on my shoulder. It was my own form teacher who didn't recognize me without my waist-length ponytail. What is the point of gendered entrances? Girls have cooties. 2 things. Getting bullied and trying to get help from staff. And yelling at a guest teacher because they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom, so I announced to the class that I was bleeding from my vagina. One of my classmates wanted to go to the bathroom but she ran out of passes. We have these things that limit how many times you can leave the classroom per semester. Around like 10 times I think. The office calling for you and stuff like that doesn't count, so she just told the teacher she was bleeding through and was so flipping proud of herself when she came back. It took me a minute to realize what she was talking about. One time I was talking about how I went hunting with my dad over the weekend and the school made me talk to a counselor about it. I had to talk to our school counselor a lot. A kid I didn't like got into a lot of little riffs with me. For some reason they latched onto my parents getting a divorce and me living with my dad for my bad behavior. That kid was just a dick and my parents getting divorced was a great decision. I never knew why that was so hard to believe. Stupid lady with her giant fake shiny nose. For rolling my eyes. Teacher shouted at me in front of the whole class. I didn't roll my eyes. My cousin is a goof, and while his face is nicely proportioned, his eyes are a little large and he has very expressive eyebrows. His teacher once called my aunt to complain about the faces he makes at her. My aunt's response was, "Don't look at him." 2 months into the first grade, I got suspended for lightly touching the arm of the teacher. This wasn't the first time I got in trouble with her. She was very strict, and I grew up with my rather laid-back mother, and I been to a, let's call it, hippie kindergarten, kindergarten. So she was my first real authority person. We were standing outside at the classroom door. There was a lot of noise and I wanted to tell her something, but she did not listen. I do not remember what it was. So I touched her arm lightly to get her attention. I got suspended and the school janitor watched me until my mother picked me up. I did switch schools after that to a much more understanding and patient teacher. This reminds me of 5th grade. The math teacher was talking to the other teachers while I was walking down the hall as a punishment. Well, I normally sleep at this time and I was super sleepy. I had my head down as I walked, and guess who was in front of me? In short, I got 3 days of islands. I got detention for holding hands with my boyfriend in the hallway. I was 13, man. I also got sent to the principal's office because in 11th grade for reading too fast. It was that bitch of a substitute teacher, Pam. Everyone hated Pam. She had a gross, wet, moist cough all the time. She sent kids to the office for literally anything. Beep you, Pam. Spam Pam. Spamming the office with a whole bunch of useless things that they don't need. Not in trouble, but I got called down to the dean's office cause a girl was really into me and I wasn't about it, so he called me down to tell me not to make it weird for her. When I was in 9th or 10th grade, I threatened to light a kid on fire when he tried to touch my tit. Then, we both got in trouble. I wasn't particularly outgoing or popular, but every girl in the school 6-12 magnet had a rally thing where they got together in the forum, basically a huge room in the middle of the school beneath the stairs, and stuff during lunch, and started telling stories of being harassed and assaulted in school, and how the teachers reacted or didn't most of the time. Parents showed up. It was a fiasco. Nothing changed though. I dropped out junior year.